Hello all, my name is Vivek Gaurav and today we shall solve some problems on Python searching and sorting. This discussion is a part of an overall course on Python where we shall take up a number of problems and solve them one by one. This course is oriented towards placement preparation where similar kind of questions are being asked. So let us have a look at those topics and those questions one by one. So let me start sharing my screen. Just a second. I believe you all can see my screen now, right? So, demo lesson, Python searching and sorting. Okay. So let us try to understand first what is searching. So searching, as you all know, is a very basic necessity where you need to find some data in a data structure, right? So there are two kind of searching. One is called as binary search and the other is called as linear search. Okay. Linear search and then binary search is there. Okay, so linear search, as the name suggests, what you do is that you are going and checking linearly. Okay, let me explain it to you through an example. Let's suppose that you have an element like 1 3 and then 5 and then 4 and then 7 and 9. So what you do is that you start from the first position. Let's suppose that you are searching for 7. Okay, you are searching for 7 over here. So what you do first is that you first come to the first position and then check if 7 is equal to 1. The answer is no. So you continue and then check if 3 is equal to 7. Then the answer is again no. You go ahead and then keep on doing it. And the moment you find it, like once you are here, you will find that 7 is equal to 7. That will be true. So what you do is that you return the index that where you found this 7. This is the logic behind linear search, which is very easy. You just run a loop and inside the loop, you run a statement. As you can see over here, that we are running a loop for I in range 0 comma n, where n is the size of the list. And then if list 1 I is equal to key is the element which you are supposed to find. The moment you are getting it, you are returning that I, and that's it. That's the only thing you have to do in linear search, okay? But when it comes to binary search, it is a bit tricky one. Remember, the first condition that you need to have in binary search is that the list must be sorted. If the list is not sorted one, you cannot implement binary search into it. And what do I mean by sorting? Sorting usually means either arranged in ascending order or in descending order. Okay, the loop, the array or the element has to be arranged in an ascending or a descending order. Then only the binary search algorithm can work out. Okay, so now the question is that how binary search algorithm actually works. So in binary search algorithm, there are three important points that we need to consider. Okay, the first is that there is a term called low, then there is a term called high, and then there is a term called mid. Okay, as you can see over here, low and then high and then middle. Now what is low? Low is the first element, that is the smaller value, that is the first index. Okay, let's suppose that you have 1 2 3 9 and 11. So basically it is 0 1 2 3 4. These are the index that we have, right? These are the index that is there, right? So low is going to be 0, your high is going to be the highest index, that is 4, and then you have to calculate middle through this formula, low plus high upon 2. So here in our case, if we are having 0 as the lower index and 4 as the upper, so it is going to be 0 plus 4 upon 2, which is going to be 2. Okay, so your middle will become 2. Now what we do after that? Okay, so in order to understand that, let us look at this example. Here we are already having an array or a list where the elements are already arranged in an ascending order. Okay, and then we are searching for an element called 23. We are searching for 23. Okay, so now what we do is that we have divided, our low is 0, as you can see marked over here, and then our high is 9 because we have 10 elements in total, and then we have middle as 4. Okay, now what we do is that we run a loop, and the loop is that the condition in the loop is that low is less than equal to high. Okay, as long as your low position is less than or equal to high position, the loop will continue. Then what you do is that you find the middle element. So now what happened is that you found middle element and then you compare the middle element with the element to be searched. So now is 16 is equal to 23? And the answer is a big no. 16 is not equal to 23. Now what you have to do is that now you know the loop is sorted. So now the question is that can 23 exist on the left side of it or on the right side of 16? Where can 23 exist? And since the loop is already sorted, this array or this list is already sorted. There is no point of 23 existing on the left half of it. It can only exist on the right half of it. So what you do is that you change the position of low, okay, and then you make low is equal to middle plus 1. So what happens is that you can see L is equal to 5. From L is equal to 0, it became L is equal to 5. So now in this, if you notice, in a single attempt, we have eliminated the left half of this, because we know it cannot exist there. Okay, and this is what we keep on repeating till we find the element, and the loop, as we said, the loop will run as long as your low value is less than high. As you can see over here, while low is less than equal to high, this is the condition. Then you define the middle element, then you check the middle element is less than it or is greater than it. Accordingly, you change the value of low, or accordingly you change the value of high. If you have got it, then you return the middle element, because there only you are going to find it eventually. Okay, so this is what we do in binary search. So here the important thing was about low, middle, and high, and based on that you have to change the value. Now let's come to sorting. Okay, so now sorting is all about arranging the data in a particular format. Okay, either in ascending order or in descending order. In most of the cases, we go with ascending order itself. And there are n number of sorting. If you will look into the screen also, I have mentioned about 5 kind of sorting over here: bubble sort, merge sort, selection sort, cell sort, insertion sort, and there are other kind of sorting like Radix sort, and there are many other. Okay, so for the time being, because of keeping the time consideration into picture, we will just discuss about bubble sort today. Okay, so let us go ahead and talk about bubble sort. So now in bubble sort, what happens is that, okay, just imagine, have you seen bubbles that coming out, right? What happens is that the bubbles go up, right? So based on the similar concept, we have the bubble sorting. So now in bubble sort, what happens? Each element of the array is compared with its adjacent element, with the next element, and the algorithm process the list in passes. Now, what do I mean by passes? Okay, so let's try to understand that. So here we have some elements, like some elements in an array: 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. These are the elements which are already arranged in descending order, but now we are trying to arrange it in ascending order using the bubble sorting. So now in the first part, first pass, what we are doing is that, as you can see written over here, we are running two loop. Okay, one is the outer loop and then the inner loop. In the inner loop, that is called as the pass. Okay, now what happens is that 4, 5 is being compared with 4. Okay, and then what we see is that if the element is less than this element is less than the other one, okay, and if it is so, then what we do is that we interchange. So 5 is greater than 4, so what we did is that we swapped it. Then 5 came here. Now what we are doing is that we are comparing 5 with 3, and then if it is greater, then we are swapping it. So like this, the first pass continues, and then what happens is that we get the heavier element at the end. Okay, and this is what is supposed to happen also, right? Because if you are arranged in ascending order, 5 is supposed to go at the end, right? So this is what happens in bubble sort algorithm. In the first instance, in the first pass, the highest value of the element will go at the end, will go at its proper position. Next time what we have to do is that we do not have to run the loop till here, we will run the loop till here itself. Okay, from here itself we will have to do the sorting, because this is already sorted now. But this is what we do. As you will see here, there are two kind of loops. One is the I in the range 0 length of A, and in the second one we are starting from I plus 1. That is, if 0 was there, then the next is 1, and then we are comparing 0 with 1, and if it is greater, if this is greater, then we are swapping the position, and this keeps on doing. So this internal loop is called as pass, and the outer loop is used to make sure that all the elements are sorted. Okay, so that was about the bubble sort. Now let us try to understand about selection sort in a quick way. Okay, so in selection sort, basically the smallest value among the unsorted array is sorted in every pass and inserted in its appropriate position. So here you will see there are basically two kind of arrays that are being produced here. One is the sub array which is already sorted, and the remaining sub array which is unsorted. Let us look at this. Okay, so here you can see, let's suppose till this has this till here. Okay, let's consider this part which I'm highlighting over here. Okay, this part. So now here you can see we have one part on the left and the other part on the right. And if you will see here on the left, all the elements are already sorted. Can you see this? All the elements are sorted. On the right side, the elements are unsorted. Okay, so here what happens is that if there are 10 elements and 7 times the loop has run, so basically you have 7 elements which are already sorted. Okay, so this is what happens in selection sort. So now let us try to answer some questions which are usually being asked in the interviews. So the first question they're asking is that what is the average case occur in the linear search? What is the average case occur when in the linear search when the element in the middle of an array, item present in the last, item present in the starting, or item has maximum value. So basically they're asking about the average search, right? So we know that average can only happen when it is in the middle, right? Because if it is present in the beginning, that is the best case scenario. Like for this is the best case scenario. If we are talking about this is the worst case scenario. But the average can only happen when it is in the middle. So the correct answer is A, the element in the middle of an array. Okay. Now let us have a look at the second question. Now what additional requirement is placed on an array so that binary search may be used to locate an entry? Now the options are the array must form a heap, the array must have at least 2 entries, right? The array must be sorted and the array size must be power of 2. So binary search, if you remember, the one and only condition in binary search is that the array must be sorted. So that is the additional requirement. Okay. So that was the correct answer. Now the third one and a straightforward one. Okay. Selection sort and quick sort both fall in the same category of sorting algorithm. What is this category? So basically it is interchange slots. Okay. So selection sort and quick sort, it is all about interchange slot because what happens is that they change the position. They directly go to the place where they are supposed to go. So basically they are changing the position. So it is interchange slot. It is change slot. Okay. Now a complex one. Look at this question. Suppose that a selection sort of 100 item has completed 42 iterations of the main loop. How many items are now guaranteed to be in their final spot? Okay, so basically there are 100 items. How many times the loop has run? 42 times. So as we talked about in the selection sort, that there are two arrays that are being formed. Okay, one array is the sorted one, right? And the other one is the unsorted one. Okay. So now here we are telling that 42 iterations has been completed. 42 iteration has been done. So basically what is happening is that we are having an array something like this. Okay. Sorry, it's the figures is not perfect. But here, let's suppose 42 items are on this side and the remaining 58 items are on this side. Okay. So here, these are the sorted ones. So how many items are guaranteed to be sorted? So basically the answer is going to be 42. Okay, so that is the correct answer. And let us have a look at the last option question for the day. And a sorting machine can sort numbers in ascending orders only. This machine can be used for sorting all negative numbers in descending order by. So now it is all about, we know that we need to have a positive number, but here it is negative number and that in descending order. So the best thing that can be done over here is that you change the sign and then sort them and then change the sign once again. Okay, so that this question was based on more on logic rather than about the programming. Okay, so let me stop the screen share and switch on the camera. I believe you can all see me now, right? So you had a look at the topics about searching and sorting, and believe me, searching and sorting are one of the most important topics which are usually being asked in any of the interviews questions, right? Like now also when one of some of my friends are going for an interview, right? Still these questions are very predominant. And this tells you that there are a lot of things as far as searching and sorting is concerned. There is complexity, how much time it is going to take, how you can optimize the code. So a lot of things. And if the basics are clear, then you can answer all the questions based on that. But if you get stuck with something, if you try to memorize the code, then you yourself will get confused between bubble sort and selection sort. You might feel like, this is what is happening in this bubble sort, but actually you are writing the answer for the selection sort. So the basic has to be clear. And the whole idea of this course is to present you the complete basics which can help you clear the basic part as well as give you the materials, help you prepare with the courses that are actually designed for the placement part, for the placement preparation. Okay. So I hope that I added some values to you, and during the course we shall take up a lot of topics. We shall in fact take all the topics and we shall work on similar problems and questions which are usually being asked in the test and the interviews by company, so that you are fully prepared, you are high on confidence, and you can start the best of your careers without negotiating for the package, because you, yeah, are completely prepared and the company is not finding any fault in trying to negotiate with you. They are ready to offer you as much as you ask. Okay. So I hope you register for this online course, and I'm expecting that you all will be there. So see you in my online courses. Thank you so much. Have a great day.